Hello, and welcome to Snowrunner. I just thought I'd add this. This video is going to be a compiling of several clips, including a situation. I got the 5070 International engine that I just thought I'd show off, but I wanted to show off, since I've been talking about it, this path here, that it serves as an alternate path until you clear this rock slide, which I recommend doing as soon as you can. Hello and welcome back. I'm just kind of in this situation. It's not really part of me delivering anything. I just thought I'd show this off because I couldn't believe it happened. What happened is I was towing the F-750 to the gas station, and I hitched up, but I made a mistake. I attached to the left side instead of the right side. So I was looking backwards trying to make sure the F-750 didn't go off the bridge and drag me with it. And in the process, I drove off the bridge and then somehow I landed on the tire. So I just thought I'd show this. Then we'll get back to our regularly scheduled plan, which is delivering a fuel tanker to set up a fuel station in North Aegis. We're loaded up with cargo and do landslide near the quarry because I originally was going to skip this, but I realized that one of the parts we need for the rocket is actually in this quarry. And so rather than taking this long way around, let's just do this. Also, I drove this truck up here to get some metal rolls turned into metal beams, but I kind of forgot to do something important, and that was pick up the metal rolls in the first place. So that's why there's metal rolls in here, and I've got the service spare parts for the roadblock on the F-750. And let's see, I'm just thinking what order I want to do stuff in. And yeah, so we're gonna head out and deliver some cargo. Okay, and here we go. I'm going to take a slightly different route just to show it off. I wouldn't necessarily recommend this route. It's kind of one of the frustrating things that game developers of Snowrunner do from time to time, and it's not actually a more exclusive issue. I was at one point going to make a video on top 3 or something assumptions Snowrunner makes, and this would be one of them. That very specific vehicles are meant for very specific reasons, and as you can see, we have this massive ice here, which you might be thinking, well, what's the problem? It's more, it's supposed to be tough. The problem is, as you see up here, there's a rock slide you have to clear. In fact, I think I may have cleared it earlier in this series, but they have the habit of just putting a area that's difficult to traverse. Yeah, actually, I know we did clear it. And it's like, so why did I go through the trouble of actually clearing this rock slide, especially when you have something like that ice obstacle there? But clearing the rock slides and building the bridges is supposed to make your life easier, and it doesn't. As you can see, I'm kind of running into snow here that just all of a sudden stopped me and pushed me to crawl. In fact, it's so bad I think I'm just going to back out before I really get stuck. And it's like, so what was the point? It just kind of is annoying, because if you go through the trouble of trying to clear yourself a path, it's like, well, why did I even bother? As soon as I get this unstuck, I'll show another example of this, because another great example would be over here. They probably made this a difficult area because they were thinking about the rocket carrier trailer bringing it through here. But what happens if you're bringing another vehicle to do something else? You kind of get left out. And it's just kind of frustrating, honestly. Or, obviously, I haven't been to Yukon on this, but obviously the reinvigorating the old mine, which is locked behind the cargo crafting tutorial, they assumed you were going to use the 8-slot trailer. And so that's how they calculated the amounts of cargo you needed, and when you didn't, it turned into a real big thing. Then you go here, where I do have some vehicles, and you look at putting the fires out at storage 1, and it says 44, 44, 44. Oh, doesn't matter that I accidentally activated that. That operates on the assumption that you're going to use the vehicle that was introduced by this region, the Dairy Special. Why? Because it has a unique 2,200 liter water tank. And then you hitch up a trailer that you can find here, and you've got 2,000 liters, so it's exactly 4,400. The problem with this is, what if, say, you do what I did when this region first came out, and I went, oh, they give you an A&K Mark 38. So I'll just put a low saddle on that and use a 3,700 liter fuel trailer that's been converted to a water trailer, or I'll put the 1,800 liter tank on the A&K and then pull the trailer you get for free. And it's like, the amounts don't match up, and it's like, they just assume that you were going to use the new truck. And the even more annoying thing about that is that they added a new vehicle that has the same 1,800 liter tank, and it's like, okay, if you wanted us to use this new vehicle, why did you not make the amounts work on that variable? So sometimes you do kind of have to play a little bit of a mind game with the Snowrunner devs and try and figure out what they were thinking, and it's just kind of, it gets annoying at points. It's just something, I guess, I don't necessarily need to do a whole video. I pretty much explained it here, how they make assumptions, and it can sometimes lead to more difficulty and annoyance. So, anyway. And for those of you wondering, do I need a super capable truck? The way I took with the FAM is one way, but there's kind of another way that's easier for less capable trucks, and that's what I'm going to show up with the F-750. Which is why I'm showing both deliveries. We're going to find a relatively safe place to defend this hill, and we're going to make this delivery using the alternate route. And take some suspension damage, apparently. And then Snowrunner decided to make things interesting, so it looks like I originally loaded the roof rack with fuel for the 5070, so this needs to go that way anyway, but I guess it's a good thing that I have service spare parts, because the F-750 needs help, and I'm probably just going to cut until we get there. it's not just about this level. They seem to do it on other levels. Like there's a rock slide in Scandinavia that clearly you think, oh, I cleared it. But really? Do you consider that cleared? There's still big rocks that can cause you a problem. I personally don't. I'd especially like to get rid of that big rock so you don't have to worm your way through. But anyway, this job's done now. And I'll just back this out of the way. And that rock that you saw me drive over and then look at when we were coming down, that rock was probably put there specifically to cause a problem when you're going the other direction with cargo. And it is as annoying as it looks. Anyway, we're gonna finish this delivery and then we'll call it a video once we reach the meadow working facility. And until then, well, and just thank you for watching. I guess we're just going to call the video here. We were defeated by a hill and a rock slide that wasn't really cleared. Eventually, I'd have to turn, so I can't just back up and get a running start at it. So what I'm probably going to have to do is either go a different way or bring a crane and then transfer these metal rolls and run them up to the factory one by one with the F-750. I don't think this truck's going to make it. Anyway, yeah, what I have mentioned, I have the second. I have the weaker of the two unique engines just for fuel economy. Would I buy the top one? I mean, I think there's a case to be made. It's just I'm trying to save up for another truck, plus the expenses of moving vehicles in between the region, and that's when I haven't been doing it. But anyway, thank you for watching.